Right now you're late for something. Maybe not today, maybe not this exact minute, but somewhere in the back of your mind there is a clock ticking, a meeting, a deadline, a pickup time, an alarm you already snoozed twice. Your entire day is sliced into invisible pieces, and you move from one slice to the next without ever stopping to wonder how that happened. It did not always work this way. For most of human history, time was not something you watched, it was something you felt. The sun rose and you woke. The shadows moved and you ate. The light faded and you stopped. Time was not a number, it was a texture, a quality of the air, and then one invention changed all of that so completely that you cannot even imagine life before it. That invention was the mechanical clock. Not the sundial, not the hourglass, the mechanical clock, the one with gears and weights and a regulated heartbeat, the one that broke time into equal, measurable, repeatable pieces and handed those pieces to the world like a ruler handing out assignments. Before this machine existed, your concept of time would have been almost unrecognizable to you today. Historian Lewis Mumford wrote about this in his landmark work Technics and Civilization. He argued that the mechanical clock was not simply a tool for measuring time. It was the machine that made the modern world possible, not the steam engine, not the printing press. The clock, because without the clock, none of the coordination required to build factories, run railroads, schedule labor, or organize cities could have happened. You cannot industrialize a world that does not agree on what hour it is. Think about that for a moment. The first mechanical clocks appeared in Northern Europe in the late 13th century. They were installed in church towers. They did not have faces. They had no hands. They simply rang a bell at set intervals to call monks to prayer. The word clock itself comes from the Latin word for bell. It was never meant to tell you the time. It was meant to summon you to something. And that is exactly what it has been doing ever since. In the centuries before mechanical timekeeping, most people in Europe and the ancient world operated on what historians now call task time. You did not work for 8 hours. You worked until the task was done. You did not eat at noon. You ate when you were hungry. Time was elastic. It stretched and compressed depending on what life demanded. A farmer in ancient Rome and a shepherd in medieval England both understood time as a sequence of events, not a grid of equal units. Researcher Edward Thompson, a British social historian, studied what happened to working people during the Industrial Revolution when clock time replaced task time. His findings were striking. Workers resisted the clock violently. Managers installed clocks in factories to enforce regularity of labor. Workers smashed them. The clock was not experienced as a neutral tool. It was experienced as a system of control, because that is exactly what it was. The clock did not just measure time, it commodified it. Once time could be measured in equal units, it could be bought and sold. You could trade an hour of your life for a wage. You could owe someone 3 hours. You could waste time, spend time, lose time, save time. Time became a currency. And just like money, once you started thinking of time as a currency, you could never go back to thinking of it as just the sky changing color. Your brain today carries all of this history inside it. Psychologist Robert Levine spent years studying what he called the pace of life across different cultures, documenting his findings in his book A Geography of Time. He found that societies with stronger ties to mechanical timekeeping showed measurably different stress responses, different health outcomes, and different relationships with other people than societies where time was still more fluid. Clock time, it turns out, is not just a measurement system. It is a psychological architecture. It rewires what you notice, what you value, and what makes you anxious. You feel this every Sunday evening. That particular dread that sets in as the day winds down is not accidental. It is the clock talking. The awareness that a unit of free time is about to be exchanged back for a unit of structured time produces a physiological stress response in millions of people every week. Researchers call it anticipatory anxiety, but your ancestors working on task time never felt it. They did not have a Monday morning in the way you have a Monday morning. They had the next day, which began when the light came. The mechanical clock also changed something even deeper than stress. It changed memory. Before clock time, human beings organized memories not by when they happened, but by what surrounded them. Memories were embedded in seasons, in smells, in the faces of people present. There was no Tuesday. There was the day the river flooded. There was the morning the fox killed the chickens. Time was narrative. It had texture and meaning attached to every moment. Clock time fled all of that. When time is divided into identical units, it loses its emotional texture. Hours feel the same as other hours. Tuesdays feel like other Tuesdays. Philosopher Henry Bergson wrote about this in the early 20th century, distinguishing between what he called clock time and lived time. Clock time is measured, live time is experienced, and the tragedy, Bergson argued, is that the more obsessively a society measures time, the less deeply it tends to experience it. You have probably felt this without having a name for it. The sensation that entire years are blurring together. The feeling that a vacation of 2 weeks was over before it started, while a difficult afternoon at work lasted forever. That is Bergson's distinction playing out in your nervous system. Measured time races, lived time dilates. The mechanical clock was not invented by one person. It emerged slowly, refined across generations of monks and craftsmen and engineers who wanted to coordinate prayer, then labor, then commerce. But once it existed, it became the operating system of civilization. Every train schedule, every surgery, every school bell, every shift change, every financial market open runs on the logic first encoded in those 13th century bell towers. And here is the twist that should stop you cold. The clock did not describe time, it constructed it. The 24-hour day divided into 60-minute hours divided into 60-second minutes is not a natural feature of the universe. It is a human agreement, an ancient one traced back to Babylonian mathematics, but still an agreement. The universe does not run on seconds. Stars do not know what a minute is. You are living inside a measurement system so deeply embedded in your mind that it feels like reality. It is not reality, it is a grid you were handed at birth. So tonight, when you check your phone before bed to see how many hours you have left before the alarm goes off, remember what you are actually doing. You are consulting a machine that was built to summon monks to prayer in medieval Europe, and it is still summoning you, not to prayer, to the next unit, the next obligation, the next measured slice of the one thing you can never get back. The invention changed how humans think about time. But the deeper truth is that it changed what time is, and right now you are late for something. But now you know why.